My name is Jonathan Kahng.
My name is Jeremy Kahng.
And this is our Korean American story. I am 24 years old. I was born in Columbus, Ohio, where I spent most of my life, raised there. I went to a school in Ohio as well, at a school called Miami University. I graduated in the year 2011. Right before graduation, I got a job at Macy's, which is actually located in Cincinnati, Ohio, just south of Columbus, and that's where I currently reside.
I am 22 years old, and I was also born and raised in Columbus, Ohio, and a suburb of Columbus, Reynoldsburg, Ohio. And right now I am at Berklee College of Music. I'm actually in between school. I'm still working on graduating, but I'm working. I intern at a studio called Digital Bear Entertainment, and I also work full-time at Chipotle as a kitchen manager.
At the school that we went to, at our high school, I could probably count on both hands how many total Asians there were, not just Koreans. The moments that I first felt that I was different, I remember very clearly. It was in kindergarten. I was running outside, and it was recess time, and I was playing with all the other kids. And I remember one of the kids stopped and pointed at me and said, "Hey, look, there's a Chinese kid." And so my reaction was to, of course, look behind me and look for the Chinese kid. I was like, where? Where is this Chinese kid? So that was the first moment of a realization that, yes, I was in fact different from the other kids.
I don't think I ever had like one of those moments. I just kind of always knew, maybe, and because we always went to we did Korean things, like we went to Korean school when we were younger. So it was like, for me, it was just very apparent that I was, at least racially different.
All those Asian stereotypes that I've heard so many racist jokes about. I actually.
It's the
rather,
positive
yeah,
ones.
it's the positive ones that I take pride in. Yes, I am good at math. Yes, I do play musical instruments. For hearing all those things, those stereotypes also kind of shaped who I am too. I mean, I was pretty popular in high school. I was on the prom court, yeah. So. I mean, I was always, I guess, the tall, friendly Asian.
Definitely being tall always brought something to talk about, or or kind of almost in some certain cases open people up to you, because they're like, you're so tall. It's almost like an amazing thing to behold.
All throughout high school, I kind of separated my friends. I had my high school white friends, and then I had my Korean friends, and oftentimes they would conflict with whoever gets my weekend time. And what was funny is my white friends didn't really understand that I had Korean friends, that I had this other group of people that I was hanging out with, and so they would ask me so why can't you go out this weekend? And I would tell them I'm hanging out with my Korean friends this week, and so. They never really got it. Like, why do you need a separate group of friends besides us? And to be honest, I couldn't really answer them. I guess it comes down to that comfortability aspect where I needed time with my people. But
for me, actually, I found myself gravitating towards Koreans a lot more. Since I got out of high school and started college, I found myself very naturally just going to a Korean church in Boston and hanging out with them most of the time rather than school friends, or so I don't know where that change came about, but yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, I just feel more comfortable. It just feels like.
Does it feel like home away?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Especially having gone to a Korean church my whole life, it's like going to another Korean church, it was like the obvious choice.
Connecting with Koreans in the Korean school and Korean church was an extremely important part of my life. Definitely kind of shaped any sort of Korean culture that I have within me today. Had I not had those, I guess, those places where those Koreans met, I would have lost the culture. my college went to Miami University, mainly white people, very wealthy white people, and after high school, definitely still kept in touch with my white friends, but when I was in college, I mainly hung out with Asian people. It was the first time that I had really met other Asian Americans that were just like me. You know, people that were born in America, kind of even went through the suburban life just like me. And then finally we were in this place where we can all gather and we can almost exclusively hang out with each other. Which again, that was a very crazy, unique, different experience from anything that I had experienced in the past. So yeah, it was great. When you're uptown, which is like our drinking area, you know, when you're uptown and everyone's drunk, there's comments being flyed around left and right. You know, chink was a comment one. What else? Everyone called me Yao Ming. So there was a couple comments, or I mean, you know, comments that flew around. But it kind of stems from this attitude that it's okay to for Asians specifically. Of course, if a black person were to come around, no one would say the N-word, right? But for Asians, somehow, you know, within our college, within our culture, I guess, it became okay to kind of make fun of Asians, and they kind of knew that there wouldn't be any consequences. And so, kind of my mission when I was in college, walking around the uptown area, was to say something back. Throughout my college experience, I built up a lot of hate. There was a lot of hate inside for these white people that were saying these random comments, and yeah.
In my college life and at my school at Berklee, it's quite the opposite. You know, diversity is like very much accepted, and you know, like it's desired almost. You know, and I think it's part of the musician culture. You know, like you know, especially because each culture has its own style. You know, and you can infuse those things, and you know, you can learn so much from one other person. And so I think not just culturally, but like musically, and, you know. So Berkeley's a very different place, I think, than your typical college campus.
Do you want to marry a Korean person?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah.
Wow. Really? Why?
When I was younger, I used to think I wanted to marry a white girl, but I don't know. Somewhere along the line, it changed. I realized that probably wasn't going to work out that well, just because I don't know. There's something about the Korean culture that just makes for a good family. I think it makes like, you know, very, at least for us, you know.
I totally agree. Yeah, it definitely changed somewhere along the lines. It wasn't that I wanted specifically to marry a white girl. And again, when I say yes, it's just more of what the ideal is. You know, love is unpredictable, of course. But yeah, I would like to marry a Korean woman, specifically for me, for the food. But not only that, but just again the sense of comfortability. It's kind of just this feeling of knowing that you'll always have this baseline connection, whatever background you may be coming from, wherever city state you may be from, you will always have this sort of background culture that you can connect with.